Hello and welcome to Lincoln to Local. I'm Rachel Havens, and today we're joined by special guest Senator Lonnie Paxton. And Senator Paxton, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to join us today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Will you tell us a little bit about yourself and the area you serve?
So I serve the area kind of from the bigger communities are Chickasha and El Reno, and I kind of bump into Yukon and Mustang. Kind of the northern 2/3 of Grady County and the western 3/4 of Canadian County is my primary area that I focus on. I actually live in Tuttle, so I'm kind of right in the middle of my district.
Excellent. And you serve on several committees over at the Capitol. Will you tell us a little bit about those?
Sure. So I've been in the Senate since 2016. Was elected, replaced Senator Ron Justice after he termed out, and so I was named last year to be the chair of public safety, and so that's the committee that deals with obviously things dealing with law enforcement and issues kind of in the public safety sector. Also, I'm the assistant floor leader, which means we help set the agendas for the floor. We go through all the legislation. We assign bills to committees. It's actually a lot busier job than what I thought it was going to be, but we have a lot of work to do, and so we're the ones who assign all the bills. Of course, Senator McCourtney is the floor leader, and Senator Lee Wright and I are both his assistants, and there to help make that work well. Help run the floor from the floor leader standpoint, and then also I'm a presiding officer, which means I stand up front with the gavel and run the meetings. And then this year, also due to some of the issues that we're facing in the state, the pro tem of the Senate named myself and Senator Lee Wright co-chairs of the Senate working group on the medical marijuana issues.
Well, I know that's been a top-of-mind issue for our Farm Bureau members so far this session. Can you tell us a little bit about some of the bills you've seen on that?
Sure. And so just kind of, it is an issue. When I'm out in the district, that is, especially in rural Oklahoma, that is one of the top issues that comes up. And obviously because of what's happened since the passage of State Question 788, states that enact medical marijuana programs in their state usually do that with a 4-year, 5-year type of a head start on getting it all set up. State Question 788 gave us 60 days. And so it was everything got thrown up against the wall, and it's been obviously a mess trying to clean it up since then. So we have a lot of good legislation working through both the House and the Senate that's going to help out with that. Some of the things as simple as signage. Farmers that live next door to one of these marijuana grows, these things are fenced in, oftentimes where you can't see in, you don't know who owns it, don't know how to get a hold of him. Farmer of the day said he's got issues with dogs chasing his cattle. He knows they're coming from that facility. He doesn't want to have problems with them, but he would like to call them. He has no idea how to even get a hold of them. So signage just sounds like a simple deal, and so that's something there's some legislation that would kind of require these medical marijuana grows to have signs such as a oil field site would have. It has a phone number and a name of the business, so we would, whether it be the neighbor, law enforcement, fire departments, would know how to get a hold of them if there was an issue. There's issues with the herbicide drift. When you talk about the issues, farmers have been spraying pastures for forever. Then all of a sudden there's a medical marijuana grow, and now you have a very expensive crop that is very susceptible to 2,4-D type of applications. And so the pesticide drift is an issue, and the liability goes along with that. So there's legislation out there that would help out with that. Senator Brent Howard out of the Altus area is the one who's carrying that legislation. There's other issues. Obviously, there's an issue with the moratorium bill. The moratorium would say, hey, let's hold off on any new licenses for a couple of years until we can kind of figure out where everything's at. The Medical Marijuana Authority has a new director, and they're doing a fantastic job of kind of cleaning everything up and getting the agency streamlined to where it can do a lot better. Bureau of Narcotics has been doing a great job. You've seen a lot of the raids going on. They're not going after our citizens who are playing by the rules. They're going after some of these, a lot of times, foreign players that have came into the state of Oklahoma and are taking advantage of us being kind of behind the 8 ball, starting this whole process out. So we're trying to get those out of here and get those places where they're more under control. And so it's obviously a lot of bills, a lot of legislation, and trying to make it all work together. That the issues that's been going on primarily in rural Oklahoma with these grows doesn't keep going on in a bad way.
Definitely. Well, I know our Farm Bureau members appreciate all the work that the legislators like yourself have done at the Capitol on medical marijuana, and know that we'll keep following that very closely. Another thing that they've likely heard about is the state of our budget in Oklahoma. Will you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. So, under the kind of direction of our governor, coming out of the pandemic, Oklahoma was one of the first states to kind of open everything back up, and because we have done that, because our citizens have been, I think you say, so resilient in their businesses and bringing everything back online and getting their businesses running again, the economy is running very well. Obviously, with the high prices of natural gas and oil, that helps our oil and gas sector, and so the gross production taxes coming into the state are a lot higher. So, long story short is we are not in a crunch for money this year, but we're also looking forward to what's going to happen next year. We have record inflation going on and issues that kind of make what's the budget need to be like next year unpredictable. You don't know what kind of revenue streams you're going to have. Is there going to be a recession? You hear all these things going on. So, once again, the governor is pushing very hard to put all the money we can in savings. Our appropriations chairs and committees are doing the same thing. So I think we already have the record amounts of money in savings, and we're trying to put a lot more in there rather than expanding the budget and growing the reoccurring expenses. Let's put money back so we can kind of keep our budget steady. And because we don't know what our revenue stream is going to be because we just don't know what the economy is going to be like in the upcoming years.
Sure. Well, it's certainly a good place to be in.
Yes, it is. There's a lot of states that have been shut down that are just the opposite of that. Their budgets are crashing. Their economies are locked down. They are not recovering the way some states like Oklahoma. I mean, and you just look around the states who kind of let the citizens manage their own risk factors rather than the state trying to clamp down on them. Those states have rebounded much better. And there's plenty of criticism. We can always point at different things, but at the end of the day, I think the state has responded in a really good fashion. I think the leadership in the state, and we can always find like I said, the simple things to pick on, but I think the leadership in the state has done a really good job. But the big kudos go to the citizens that have really stepped out and made Oklahoma work the way it does work, and I think we're way ahead of the game. And because of that, the state is not. There's no budget cuts this year. There's streamlining, there's making things work better, and the fact that we have the ability to have a record savings account is a huge deal looking forward.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Senator Paxton, and thank you for joining us on another episode of Lincoln to Local.